welcome back. My name is Bianca Broos. I'm a business and branding strategist, and I am so grateful that you're here with me. Today, I want to talk a little bit more about this concept of standing in the light and what does that mean. It's really about you knowing who you are, whose you are, and why you're doing what you're doing. It doesn't matter what kind of business you're running, whether you are employed or having your own entrepreneurial endeavors. It's really just about doing the work that we are here to do while we're living here on earth in such a way that it has an impact in our lives, in our families' lives, in our community's life. So with 2017 coming to a sort of winding down end and the new year being ahead of us, this is the perfect time. We have all done it. Everyone around us does it. Everybody talks about it, looking at the goals that you have for the next year. But before you do that, I'd really like you to practice, and yes, it is a practice. You don't have to be good at it. You just have to do it, of looking back. What's worked for you? What have you accomplished? Where have you failed? Let's not be afraid of acknowledging where we have failed and what we've learned from that, so that we can really take with us the lessons and the things that have empowered us and have grown us into the next year, and leave behind some of the things that we're done with. They've done their work, they've served their purpose, and we can be done. So I'd like you to really spend some time with that, because that is exactly what it takes to stand in the light. Standing in the light, in that unity, is not so much about agreeing with everybody or having everyone on your team. No, this is really about you. You being in agreement with yourself, in unity with yourself, and then seeing the work that you do with others, for others in your community. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to look at this fun word that I really like, and we're just going to see where this season takes us next. So one of the things that I want to talk to you about is, particularly this time of year, we have the opportunity to experience other brands. Mostly retail brands, because it's a time for gift giving. So whether you are purchasing gifts in larger stores, or you are making your own gifts, or you're purchasing from smaller handcrafted retailers who are selling their handcrafted items, you are most likely in relationship somehow, connection somehow with retailers and other brands. So when we talk about branding, when we think of brand conversation, we really pay attention to three things. We pay attention to the time we spend, the value we receive, and the money that we spend. And recently, I'm sure you have had this experience as well. I have had the experience of purchasing a birthday gift for my oldest daughter, who by the time you are watching this is 18 years old. So I cannot believe that I am responsible for having raised an 18-year-old. I'm so proud of her, and I really wanted to make this special for her, this gift, very monumental for her. And in that conversation with myself, and you probably know what I'm talking about, when you are really anticipating something and you're having this conversation with yourself of what it is you want to go and get and why you want it, what it means to you. You may even anticipate what it would mean to the person you're gifting it to. You may also very well be aware of the budget that you are going to allocate toward that gift, and so you have the monetary thing covered. And perhaps it's a larger purchase, but you're okay with that because you've saved for it, or you've prepared for it, and you're ready. You'll see the monetary value in that exchange. Whether it's a large sum or a small sum, it's actually secondary, because there is a monetary exchange that you are prepared to make. But really, when we're engaging with other brands, we're really also looking for the time and the value, that sort of why value, that value of connection, that value of relationship, that value of maybe customer service, that value of being seen. So those are the values we really look for in our exchanges with other brands. And then time. How much time am I spending either on the phone or in the store? So those are the things that we're paying attention to when we interact with brands. And brands need to pay attention to that because it is how they draw us in as customers to stand in the light of what it is that they're talking about or doing. So this time of year, especially as we are gift giving a lot, many of us, we are encountering ambassadors of other brands. And that is a word that I have come to use a lot this year and plan on using again a lot next year, because as somebody who works with brands and businesses, I realize how important it is for us to represent and to be good ambassadors of the work that we do. When you are out there in the world of retailers and brands, you are encountering other ambassadors. And they're going to represent the brand that they're representing on 3 levels. The way they spend the time with you, the way they show you value, and the way that they meet you in your monetary exchange. So the time and the value actually absolutely, almost fully inform the monetary exchange. Particularly if you already are aware of what it is that you're wanting to purchase, whether that is a pair of clothing or a computer or a TV. In your own business, in your own work, I want you to think about what does it take for you to be a really good ambassador of the work that you do? How do you represent the values of your brand in such a way that somebody else may be able to connect to them? What kind of time do you spend with the people that you're interacting with, whether that is a potential customer or somebody you're networking with and gives you a referral, or just a friend? How do you spend time with them? And then lastly, what does the monetary exchange look like? As business owners, we often are tempted to pay attention to only the monetary exchange. As customers, we are often tempted to only pay attention to the monetary exchange. But what really makes you feel good and be alive in the work that you do and in the work that you do with others is the time and the value element, that connection. So I wrote a note down because I want you to hear this really well. Even if the money component never changes, so you know exactly what you're going to spend on a certain item, the perception of value on money disproportionately rises or falls with value and time spent. So if you spend time and you show value, the perception of the money spent disproportionately rises because the person that you're engaged with will feel that much more seen, that much more connected, that much more valued. And conversely, if you don't focus on time and value, the money perception will disproportionately plummet and somebody will feel like they have wasted their money. So keep that in mind as you're standing in the light during business, especially in this season. I know you can connect these pieces to the work that you do. And even if you are not necessarily currently engaged in your work, in your brand, you can connect to this as a customer and in relationship with other brands. So I want you to think about that. I want you to ask me questions. Give me your thoughts. There's Bo. It's time to wrap this up. But it's such a pleasure to connect with you. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Bo is very insistent on that. And I will see you next week. Happy holidays, everybody.